If it hurts, you ain't breaks, no get you know it up, put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, two games after this win. Press you again, we're here for the first mate. Can't fight you never 6 minutes.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Well, I mean, obviously, we've spent, 4 years, trying to change the culture, trying to instill in these young men how blessed they are, to have an opportunity to play somewhere like the University of Tennessee, and what an honor it is to have that T on the side of your helmet, and that we're always playing for something bigger than us individually.
Man, we blessed to do this. We blessed to wake up. We blessed to be standing by each other. We cannot take these opportunities for granted. There's people that wish they'll be doing what we was doing. There's people that call us crazy for doing what we do. But they don't understand. Every time we touch this grass, it's a certain mentality you gotta have. And you can't just turn it on. We gotta wake up with it. We gotta train it. We ought to make each other better. I need you. I need you.
Doesn't have to be perfect, ain't gonna be perfect. We go compete for 60 freaking minutes. All right, enjoy the opportunity, enjoy the environment, and then go play our butts off, play for one another, and have a hell of a lot of fun. Everybody got me?
Yes,
all right.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here.
Make the decision. You're either a Vol or you're not, through thick and thin.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. He's Coach Jay. Hope you guys are having a great Wednesday. Man, I want to jump on here and I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it. Tony in the chat earlier said, Boogie, can you tell us what is it? We're gonna have to wait. I'll tell you what it is before it's over with. Man, I want to talk about some football. We put up the bats and we said all hands on deck. Who wants to jump on? Who wants to talk about Tennessee football? How you doing, Coach Jay? How you doing?
No one wants to talk football with us. No, I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm good. Just got off the grass. Always love that, man. Hanging out. Crazy week. Got to visit some family. Not under the best of circumstances, but always a pleasure to talk ball football. It's always a good time for it. And March coming up, March Madness. We'll see how the team does. But baseball. I think they outscored in like 28 innings, 75-6 against like Shady Pines Convalescent Home. So that was good.
I was talking.
Baseball team.
All my friends in East Tennessee work at the liquor store. I mean, that's everybody that I talk to on a daily basis is the guys at the liquor store. And I was talking to one of them, and I was like, yeah, they played nobody, right? They're playing nobodies on the diamond, but it's still good that the bats are hot. The bats are hot. good start to the season. Man, I'm excited about this baseball team. It is not easy. We'll see. We'll see how the baseball fans handle this. It ain't easy. First of all, it ain't easy to get to Omaha. It dang sure ain't easy to win in Omaha, and it's real tough to go back-to-back in college baseball. But we'll see what Tony B and the boys can do. March Madness around the corner, but guess what? There's something else right around the corner, and that's what I want to talk about, the orange and white game on April the 12th. Now, look, for us, man, are we actually going to finally have a spring game? Right? No spring game in 22. It was a scrimmage behind closed doors, which Coach Heupel probably preferred, probably enjoyed. Limited capacity in 23, limited capacity last year. We still had a good time, man. We got to hang out, tailgate. Everybody from Talkin VAWLS got to come hang out. Not everybody, but a lot of you guys. We're doing that again this year, April the 12th. G10 parking garage, Talkin VAWLS hangout. Come join us. It'll be fun. But it's actually going to be a spring camp. Do you think, Coach Jay, that we're eventually going to go away from spring ball? Like I know Matt Rule, Nebraska head coach, has been very vocal about it because of the transfer portal window. He wants to go to some type of summer, like NFL organized team activities, mini camp type deal. Do you think eventually we go away from spring camp?
I think you could certainly see it, just with the slide in the recruiting cycle too, the way it's worked out, and with the way practices are limited, the way they limit contact, the way with coaches are pulling away from spring games more and more, the way their transfer portal NIL is shaping the modern landscape of college football. I do think we'll go away from it, and I don't think you're going to get a real spring game either. I mean, you might get some semblance of one. You might get a couple series, but call me Dennis Hopper in Waterworld, man. That's going to be like dry land. That's just a myth, Boogie. It's just a myth.
Yeah, I always love the overreactions. Jack Jantik's son made a couple of plays. Harrison Bailey became the next Peyton Manning because of his spring camp, or not spring camp, but orange and white game performance. But still, it's football. We get to watch it. We get excited about it. I do enjoy spring camp, but to me, it really doesn't matter if it's during the spring or whether it's during the summer. I think it does impact recruiting because, like right now, it's a dead period. That's why I want to jump on and talk about spring camp. And you man, I've been throwing this out there. So many videos. Your word back during the charity stream for what you're looking for in 2025 was growth. And I'm excited about this team in 2025. But when you look at recruiting, right, they're going to take their unofficials throughout the course of spring camp. Then they're kind of narrowing down their list, and they start taking officials during the summer, and that's when the decisions come in. So if you move spring camp to the summer, like, what does the recruiting period look like? I don't know. It'd be interesting, but I'm excited. It's a recruiting dead period. Things are slow right now, but we're right around the corner, man. Right around the corner, a few weeks away from spring camp. So we're going to talk about the coaching changes that just took place. We're going to talk about this roster and Coach Jay's key word of growth. Who are we looking to see grow from 24 to 25? We're also going to talk about coaching contracts that expire in January of 2026. Got a lot of fun stuff to talk about, and of course, we're going to talk about it. But let's see who was in the chat. Shane Mountain was here at 5:30. 5:30, he said, can y'all hurry up and let's freaking go? Tony is here. What's up, Tony? Louisiana Ball was in the chat bright and early. Those were the early arrivals. Joey Carroll drops a $5 super chat. We appreciate that. Dorothy says, Dorothy, let's go Vols. Shout out, Joey. We appreciate you, my man. Who else we got hanging out? Joe Ball 64 is here, says, good evening. What's up, brother? Seth the Nader's been a member for 31 months. He says, how's everybody doing tonight? Fantastic. Doing fantastic. Vintage Creative says, besties, I am back. Crystal is back in the chat. It's good to see you back in the house. Trent Hamilton is here. Yo, Boogie, hope all is well. Doing well until you start talking about my house that we're under the fourth offer with more drama. I'm waiting on them to back out. We'll move on to the fifth offer. We'll see if we can actually sell this house, but I'm talking fantasy football. Jason is here. What's up, brother? We also got Carl, the accountable accountant's been a member for 19 months. Gregory drops a $20 super chat. We appreciate that. That's an Orange Boy. We'll play the clip. Rocky Top! Gregory C says, I need to hear Pat sing it, Boogie GBO. David Berg has been a member for 29 months. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for the support. Hey, we appreciate door fees. We appreciate the donations. Keeps the lights on around here in the off season. But you can just smash the thumbs up and share this link out. Let people know we are live. That is quick, that is free, and that is easy. But, hearing Pat sing, it's kind of felt weird on the intro. And by the way, shout out to Nate. I didn't even mention, I just threw them under the bus. Nate and Dauber both have the flu. X Factor is having technical difficulties, so we roll on. Me and Coach Jay will get you through it. So hope Dauber and hope Nate feel better soon. But speaking of Pat singing it, it felt weird on the intro, not playing Mike Eckler. Like, I don't have any Mike Eckler clips that I can play anymore, and it's kind of heartbreaking. I feel like it's not Talkin Vols without Eck. We know he's off to Nebraska. Best of luck to him. A lot of people want to talk about money and nonsense and drama. It's not about that. It's about getting closer to family, getting closer to his parents who live less than an hour from the stadium. Like, I wish Mike Eckler the best. But in that move, you lost your special teams coordinator. You lost your outside linebackers coach. We got the promotions. We got the hirings this week. Coach Chop, Lavorne Harbin, is now coaching outside linebackers. 2-year deal. Let's kind of go through them one by one, Coach Jay. Let's start with Coach Chop. 2-year deal, $350,000 for this season. Earned $325,000 last season. Is it about title? Is it about more responsibility? I think Coach Chop has a pretty good coaching gig ahead of him, whether that's at Tennessee or not when it's all said and done. But he's known at Tennessee for his recruiting, did spend some time at Auburn, Louisiana, spent 7 seasons at Tuskegee University, 2 seasons at Georgia Southern. He was also an NFL scout for 1 year, but we saw this coming, Coach. But what do you think about Coach Chop? What do you think about the promotion to coach outside linebackers?
I'm happy about it, man. I know everyone loves Coach Chop. I think it was well-deserved. I mean, it's like he was at the little kids table a little bit, right? At Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Like, maybe he didn't get the big turkey leg or the best piece of meat or the first scoop of mashed potatoes at the kids table. But hey, man, he was out there mowing the lawn, out there working hard, got a little hair on his chin at 14, and now he's at the big boy table, and it was well-deserved, man. Coach Chop knows his stuff. The kids love him. He's the best recruiter on the team, and it was deserved, and you got to retain him. Look, at the end of the day, a lot of people are going to start offering Coach Chop money. Recruiters of his level don't hang around for long if they're not moving up. So if you weren't going to promote Coach Chop this year, you were on borrowed time with him, and that time was ticking fast. So I'm really excited about it. I think he's a great X's and O's guy, and I'm really, really excited for the growth in our outside linebacker core under Coach Chop.
What do you think? What do you think the future is for that defensive line? And it's interesting to me that Coach G coaches the defensive line, but they have Mike Eckler coaching outside linebackers, and now they have Coach Chop coaching outside linebackers, which is essentially the edge position. What do you think the future looks like for the defensive line coach? Because I hope Coach G coaches for another 20 years. I have no idea. We'll see how long Coach G coaches. But you also got Robert Ayers as an analyst on this coaching staff, knows a little something about playing defense in the SEC, in the NFL. A lot of people, myself included, believe that he's the future. I don't know. How do you keep Coach Chop on this staff? I don't know what the future looks like there.
I mean, look, so let's address what I think we all know is coming. I don't think Tim Banks will be here forever, right? I think we kind of know that. I think we hired accordingly last year, and I think we got a defensive coordinator in waiting, right? So when he finally does move up, I think it does open the true linebacking coach up, or if you want to give him a bigger title, you can kind of move things around. It gives you some leeway both ways on some upward movement for Coach Chop. So you still have some space to grow his role with this team. But, it was interesting what you said about DN, because DN just are becoming more and more like linebackers. I mean, we saw how much they like to drop James Pierce into coverage. They're going to have to do that more and more, play in more and more space as we move forward. But then they also have to do every single thing a defensive lineman can do. So you really need a coach that not only knows the defensive line in and out, but also knows the linebacker position in and out. And Coach Chop is tailor-made for that. And once again, to beat a dead drum here, he's a heck of a recruiter. So I think he can kind of do all that, and I think there's a little bit of room to grow.
We'll move over and talk about special teams because, again, my Coach Eck, He handled special teams and the outside linebacker position. So they go two ways here. I was kind of surprised when I saw this. They promote Evan Crabtree from within. He's a guy that's been on the staff as an analyst for a while. Especially, he is now your special teams coordinator, 3-year deal, $250,000 per year. But then what do you think? I like this. They go out, they get a guy that's got a ton of coaching experience, John Bonamigo, sign him to a 1-year deal worth $200,000 a year. 30, like this is what blows my mind. This Evan Crabtree is your special teams coordinator. John Bonamigo is his assistant. 1-year deal, $200,000, 34 years of coaching experience, 6 different NFL teams as a special teams coordinator or an assistant. But this is what I like. He was an assistant at Army, but then he was also a head coach at Central Michigan. Like when people talk about Joey Halzle and how this offense has changed, if we talk about how it's not just Joey Halzle, yes, he's the offensive coordinator. If I still don't know if Coach Hype's calling plays, Joey Halsey's calling plays. I don't know. But this entire offensive staff sits down in a meeting room and they iron out their offensive game plan, right? So, you bring in a guy with head coaching experience, that's valuable across the board for Josh Heupel and this coaching staff.
Yeah. Hey, look, whenever you can be around a coach that has been everywhere, has been up and down the aisle. He's been around the league. He's been around pros. He knows how to handle himself. I think they feel great with Crabtree, but I think they feel that there's nothing wrong with having that mentor, right? And we'll see if he stays after the 1 year, but just to be able to whisper in their ear, like, hey, look at this way, or maybe they see this, or maybe you're having a difficult time coaching this type of player and how they receive things. And, you've got everything put together as a young coach, but you're just missing in that extra seasoning on the steak, if you will. So I think that's what that hire is about. And I think it's a brilliant move. Special teams, as we all know, is so important. And you can't have too many hands on deck, and certainly not too many hands on deck that are wise and know how to sail the ship in the right direction.
Let me hit a couple of super chats real quick. Wade Rouse for 5 says, Go Vols, long time no see. Been very busy getting the house ready for the little girl coming in June. Can't wait, man. That's awesome. Congratulations, Wayne. Wade. Enjoy it, man. Nothing like being a girl dad. There is nothing like it. Being a boy dad, it's a little rough. We're discovering that right now. We're discovering that they just, if the house is not burnt down within the next 10 years, I'll be shocked. I will be shocked if we survive this little human tornado who just turned 5 this week. He just turned 5. Shout out to Craig J. Been a member for 28 months. We appreciate you, my man. David Franklin drops a 20 spot. We'll play the dang clip.
Rocky Top!
David says, been a bit dwarfy. My bad. It's not your bad. It's not your bad. It's my bad. Coach Jay said, are we going to stream anymore? Like all you do is play video games with 12 people watching. Like, can we like talk some ball? I said, yeah, we'll go live. We'll do a live stream. Why not? So shout out, David. Appreciate you, brother. Let's a little bit more about the coaching staff. There are something that Brent Hubbs put on the VolQuest boards, the general's quarters. He said, I'm going to be interested to see if any other assistants get extensions and how many will be on expiring deals come January 2026. Right now, there is a lot of them. These are the names of guys that as of now, their contracts will expire next January. Glenn Ellerby. Are you going to write them down? Glenn Ellerby. Rodney Garner, Joey Halzle, William Inge, Kelsey Pope, Darrell Sims. And then I think you also got to include Alec Ablin. His contract expires February of 2026. So first and foremost, do we see any extensions? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if they get anything done over the course of the next. Usually when they drop out this coaching news, it all comes at the same time. And it wasn't really talked about much. Willie Martinez, a lot of people speculated would he retire because his contract expired at the end of January. He got a 2-year extension, getting paid $540,000 per year. Kurt Schmidt, who is the strength coach, got a 1-year deal, $475,000. That was interesting because I saw some people speculating on the board about it because that's a dude that's been with Josh Heupel forever. Yeah. Central Florida, long-time relationship there. Why did he just get a 1-year deal? Like what that was interesting. But again, let's talk about the contracts expiring in January of 2026, because a couple of these guys for me are on the hot seat. And again, I say that because I'm going by the kind of the pulse of the fan base. Glenn Ellerby on the hot seat, Joey Halzle on the hot seat, Kelsey Pope on the hot seat. I think Coach G, I think William Inge, I think Darrell Sims. I think even Alec Ablin. I think those guys, if they want to be here and they don't get maybe a promotion elsewhere to leave, right, a coordinator position, a raise, whatever, I think those guys will return. But Glenn Ellerbe, is Josh Heupel loyal to him? I think Glenn Ellerbe, I think he's on the hot seat. I think we got to see some development. And then it's even more convoluted now because you went out and got Pendleton. You went out and got Wendell Moore Jr. So the conversation is going to continue. I think all eyes are on David Sanders and maybe also William Satterwhite, because it sounds like Andres Carrick's waiver didn't get approved. He's appealing the appeal. We'll see what happens there, but it sounds like he won't be back. So William Satterwhite at center, David Sanders at right tackle. Guys that Glenn Ellerbe went and recruited at the high school level. I got to see something out of those guys to have the confidence that Glenn Ellerbe can develop talent. That's the big question.
Can I ask you a question, Boogie? Can I butt in real quick?
Well, I love what
I know it's off topic. Yeah, I know. I think it's on topic. So let me ask you this question. What if out of camp, Bennett Warren's the starting tackle and David Sanders not?
I'm happy.
What if he good? Okay, great. Yeah. Me too. I would be the happiest man on earth if that was the news, because that would mean he developed a kid with a little more hair on his chin into a role to where he could beat out someone with that much talent. And you could bring him on a little slower. There's nothing wrong with that in the offensive line. But I kind of feel like, go ahead and say it in the chat, I feel like a lot of fans necessarily wouldn't be happy with that if that's the way it happened.
Let me tell you how that plays out for me. If Bennett Warren starts at right tackle and Lance Hurd, to kind of go ahead and spoil later in the show the growth, who needs to grow? Lance Hurd needs to grow. I think 2025 is Lance Hurd last season at Tennessee. I think either he is so good that he goes to the NFL, or he's so good that there is a demand for him in the portal and he leaves for money, or he's not as good as we need him to be, and he's looking for that bag to get out before his college career is over. I think Lance Hurd is done after 2025 at Tennessee. Now, does he go on to play college, pros, whatever? So if Bennett Warren is ready, again, like you just said, it tells me that Glenn Ellerbe can develop a guy that's a little more raw. And I say that Bennett Warren was a blue chip prospect, top 300 guy, 4-star prospect. Like, Bennett Warren was a huge commit for Tennessee, but a little more raw than, say, a David Sanders when you're talking about one of the top players in the country. Shows me he can develop him, get him ready. And then guess what? David Sanders can chill. David Sanders can grow. David Sanders can get stronger. David Sanders can grasp the offense. And then guess who's going to be your left tackle for 2026? That's going to be David Sanders, and then Bennett Warren's going to be going into year 2 as your starting tackle on the right side. I would be ecstatic. And it's like we talk about the quarterback position. I don't care who's out there. I just want to win is all I want. And Bennett Warren's a great kid. We had Bennett Warren on the show. Great kid. David's a great kid. Like, I want the best for both of those guys. So
agreed. Yeah, I'm with you. All right, we can go back to coaches. Sorry, I just wanted to.
But that's good elaborating there on Glenn Ellerbe, because that would kind of, if he's got to prove it in 2025, that would get it done. Joey Halsley, what are your thoughts there? Contract expiring in January 2026, another guy that's been with Heupel for a while. Is loyalty going to be a problem? Let's say the offense struggles again in 2025. Do you kind of say, okay, Josh Heupel, it's gut check time? And you've done great things. You've won 11 games, 9 games, 10 games, last 3 seasons. You and I both love and support Josh Heupel. But is it gut check time of, maybe I need to go out and find a guy like Chip Kelly that was a former head coach, bring him in and let him run his offense? I don't think Josh Heupel's ever going to do that.
I mean, I think circumstance always matters, as there are a ton of injuries and something downward spirals like that. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that we have no growth, right? We're healthy, and Nico throws for the same amount of yards. Wide receivers drop a bunch of balls. We run the ball pretty good. Then, yeah, I do think he'll switch him out. I do believe that. I do believe that he would. I do think that Heupel is a very loyal guy and has a strong sense of loyalty to Halsey, but I also think Heupel understands the game. I also think he understands it's a profession. I also think he understands everything that comes along with winning. And, it's business. At the end of the day, it's a business now. And it's about winning. Winning makes money. Winning begets recruiting. Winning begets strengthening the power T. And if something is preventing that, then you darn well better get rid of it. Otherwise, I think the volunteer faithful have proven that they will get rid of you if you're not willing to do so.
Another one, William Inge. That's an interesting one for me because, and I've heard kind of two sides to this. If Tim Banks gets a head coaching job and he leaves, is William Inge your defensive coordinator? I kind of thought that when Inge was hired. I've heard some other people in the know say that likely would not happen. Josh Heupel's always going to do his due diligence, right? He's going to go through the like we all said, all right, Coach Chop's going to get promoted to outside linebackers. Coach Heupel's going to take his time. He's going to do his interviews. He's going to make those phone calls, and then he's going to ultimately do what he does. So we'll see what happens with William Inge. For me, Kelsey Pope in the same situation as Glenn Ellerbe. If I see Mike Matthews have success, if I see Braylon Staley have success, if I see this offensive passing game start to flourish, then all of a sudden we're going to go back to the same thing when Kelsey Pope got the job, right? We're going to celebrate because the players are celebrating. But I think Kelsey Pope's another one to keep your eye on.
Yeah, Kelsey. Yeah, look, if we go out there and are dropping the ball at the level that we dropped the ball out this season and last year for that matter, it's unacceptable. I think it's unacceptable to every fan in this chat. So yeah, we can't have that problem again, right? You just can't. It's cost us too many yards. If you go subtract the yardage from all the drops the previous 2 years, it would blow your freaking mind how much better this Tennessee offense would have been had we just held on to the ball. So yeah, and I think that directly does land on coaching. I mean, it lands on the actual players too. I don't want to make it seem like it doesn't, but it's your job to prepare these kids, and the buck's got to stop somewhere, and that's with you. You're the one out there, on a contract. You're the one out there being paid. I know the players get paid. I get that, guys, but at the end of the day, the coaches are where the buck stops.
Let me hit a couple of these real quick. Jeff Clabo, been a member for 10 months. We appreciate you, Jeff. He says Vol World Order. Matthew Watson's been a member for 6 months. Randall Perry just joined the channel. So thank you for that. Appreciate you, Randall. You guys can join the channel. Hit that join button. It's $1. It is $1. If you like what we do around here, you want to keep the lights on, you want to support us in the off season, you can hit that join button. But man, we got 150 people watching. It is February. It is a dead period. No recruiting is taking place. We're a few weeks away from spring camp, and we got 150 people that want to hang out and talk about it. What is it? I don't know. We're going to get into that in just a second. Let me hit this quote from Josh Heupel in regards to the coaching changes. He says, "We are excited about the cohesiveness of our coaching staff. Chop and Evan understand the culture and the standard of excellence that we have built here over the past 4 years. Both have strong relationships with our players, and it will make for a seamless transition as we get ready for spring practice." That's going to take us into our next topic. There's not a lot of turnover on this staff heading into year 5, and I think that is a good thing because I think 2025 is a big season coming up, right? On the field, off the field. We've been talking a lot since that embarrassment to Ohio State about taking the next step. How do we take that next step? I think 2025 is a huge year for Tennessee. Let's bring the X Factor in. He got his technical difficulties solved. X, how we feeling, bro? How big do you think 2025 is? 22. Like, look, we just said it. 11 wins, 9 wins, 10 wins, college football playoff. You get embarrassed by Ohio State. You understand. There is still a level of separation between us and where we want to go. How big is 2025? Dylan in the chat says it's make or break. Is this it? Is this the crossroads for Josh Heupel? How big is 2025 to you?
It's huge, guys. Like I said, put it like this: going into year 25, it should be the same exact mindset, same exact goal from this past season, right? It's playoffs or bust. I mean, let's be real. Like we've been talking about with this team and this coaching staff that Josh Heupel has brought in now. Because, like I said, we gave him a pass. Year 1, we were impressed with year 2. Then year 3, it was like, okay, now we need to start getting the gears going, right? So of last season, we accomplished our goal. We made the playoffs. Yeah, I know it ended very terribly. Left sour taste in our mouths, losing to Ohio State like that. But I get it. Ohio State's the team to beat, especially when it comes to NIL. But yeah, man. 25 is huge. This is, again, it should be the same mindset like it was last season going into this season. It's playoffs or bust, man. Listen, like the days of, getting in at, 7, 8 wins, getting a measly little bowl game, like those days are gone, guys. Like, I mean, listen, we got our eyes on the bigger prize. Look, Josh Heupel, his coaching staff, and even like Nico and the players, man, they have their eyes on the bigger prize, man. I mean, just the days of just competing for bowl games are over. But yeah, let's definitely have that mindset of trying to get a natty this coming season.
Oh man. Oh, you're bearing the lead. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go
Trying
there.
to be patient. Trying to be patient.
I'm trying to be
trying to keep my guns in my holster.
I'm trying to lead into it. We'll come back. We'll come back to Natty. We'll come back to Natty. But Coach Jay, when we put the schedule on the screen, Syracuse, ETSU, go Bucks. Sometimes Georgia, UAB, Mississippi State, Arkansas. It's the same schedule as this year. We're just flipping home away, and we're adding some non-conference opponents that Tennessee should handle. We shouldn't even have a conversation about Syracuse. You and I aren't going down the road like we did last year about NC State. We're not going to have that conversation about Syracuse or ETSU or UAB. Who's the other one? Is that it? Is that the only? New Mexico State. Good Lord have mercy. We're going to talk about New Mexico State. No. Yep. There's 4 wins. What it comes down to for me, I've said it time and time again, you got to do something you hadn't done before. You got to either beat Georgia or you got to go on the road and beat Alabama or Kentucky. So if you want to sit here and you want to sell me on 9-3, I understand where you're coming from. 8-4, I don't see it. I just don't see it. Now, if that's what you feel, that's fine. I understand everybody's entitled to their opinion. I just think sometimes we're not factoring in how much talent this football team's about to return. A team that just went 10-2 and made it to the college football playoff and should have beat Arkansas and been 11-1. What happens if we're 11-1? We get that better seeding. We make it to the semifinals. I think right now we got 400 people watching, and we're talking about a national championship. But Coach Jay, you look at the schedule. What's your expectations for 2025?
Well, I always have the highest of expectations, Boogie. So, I mean, I expect to be competitive in the playoffs at the end of the day, is what I expect from this team. But I don't know. I don't know if it's the beach air so close to me here in California or what, but I don't like to treat things like the end of the world either. Now, let me be frank here. You kind of talked about something I wanted to talk about again, which is growth and how important growth is and how vital when you're in this phase that I believe Tennessee's football program is, where you do have a lot of talent and you do have a lot of people in position, but you have to grow them. These are your players now. There is no more Jeremy Pruitt players, right? These are all Heupel's players now. These are all his people, his system. Mm-hmm. You've got to produce now, right? So,
yes, sir.
Football is a funny game, and if you don't treat it with a lot of respect, you'll find yourself in the position that Florida State was in this past year. Mm-hmm. So let me not beat around the bush at all. There's a lot of possibilities for any team. I get people's trepidation, especially when the last thing you saw on the field was Ohio State, but I also think it's knee-jerky too, just to put too much weight on one game as well. I hate predicting anything this early. I want to see spring games. I want to see not so much the game, but gains, not game, guys. I want to see spring gains. I want to see how the guys are moving. I want to see how they're flowing. I want to see how they've looked to develop. I want to see all that kind of stuff. I think predicting your record really before game one, I think that's kind of the earliest that you really should do it, to be 100% honest with you. But I could see everything between 8-4 and 11-1, 12-0 out of this team. I really can. I think there's that much laterally that can happen. And we're going to have to see how that development goes, because there is a ton of talent, in my opinion, for Tennessee, but it's talent coming up that needs developed. So it's just going to be the huge key to this season is how this team develops. But I've been around football too long to try to predict a team's record off the previous season. It's just stupid. And anyone who sits there and tells you, oh yeah, my view's based in reality because I saw what happened last year. Last year's not this year. Every football season is extremely unique and must be treated as its own individual thing, and this season will be no different in my eyes.
Which is, it's why your word of growth it's like
huge.
my theme for this offseason, because I think if this team does grow, they can go win a national championship. Go ahead, X.
Yes, sir. How about to say I agree with both of y'all. And then earlier, Boog, when you was saying like, looking at the schedule right here, going on the road, to beat against Kentucky, which I mean, let's be real, we're all Kentucky's daddy. That's kind of the road game that I mean, I know it's too early, and like I said, every given Saturday, right? We always say that when the season comes around, but I feel pretty confident with that one. My biggest one, and y'all both probably know what I'm getting ready to say. The biggest one I'm looking at the schedule is Florida at the Swamp. That one to me is like, okay. So like we got Georgia coming at home. I know that's another big one too that we'll probably get more in depth about. But with Florida at the Swamp, listen, man, I'm a little nervous about that one. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, but at the same time though, it's time. It is time to break the curse, to to break the dry spell of just not winning at Gainesville. And I'll be honest, like we talk about clipping Georgia early on the schedule in order for Josh Heupel and this team to reach the ultimate goal. But also too, that also involves looking at Florida too, because again, it's been a long time since we've won down at the Swamp. So that's another hurdle that you have to get over. If like you guys were saying about growth and development, that's another area that it's like, okay, like if we take care of Georgia early, that's cool. But what about Florida down in Gainesville? Because we've struggled and struggled. I mean, just pain and misery of just not winning there.
Right now, I like Tennessee to beat Alabama on the road more than I do beating Florida on the road. And also, I'm about to demote Coach Jay back to the chat. Look, we make predictions. We have expectations. We talk ball football all day, every day, right here on the Talkin Balls Network. Somebody said today, Boogie, I like what you do, but you got to be talking about baseball. You got to be talking about basketball. Let me tell you something. Right now, if we were doing a baseball stream, there'd be about 23 people watching. I want to talk football all day, every day. That's what gets me motivated to wake up every day. I love talking Tennessee football. And at one point I said, we're going to do basketball. We're going to do baseball. No. Tennessee football is it. That is all I know. It is all I care about. It is Tennessee football 24/7. Eat, sleep, and breathe it. I am here to talk about it. My face is turning red. I love Tony Vitello. I love this baseball team. I hope they win a national championship. I watch when I can. Basketball. Anyway.
It's glad we beat Vandy.
It's all
all right. I will modify. Vols win every game by 50.
Now we're talking.
There you go.
There you go.
Blackout Jones been a member for 13 months. Appreciate
sunshine.
you, brother. Sports Banter renews his membership. Thank you, Sports Banter. Appreciate that. I say it all the time, but those memberships do get us through the off season, so we appreciate your support. Look, going just Alabama. I think Alabama can cross that hurdle, and I'm excited about the talent coming back. But X said the magic words. He said national championship. This man said national championship. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to revisit this. This is something I made a video on earlier this week. Let me edit this. I'm a man that's prepared. I'm a man that comes in well prepared, ready to go. That slot down there was it was for Nate. It was for Nate, and now I got to go in and I got to modify and I got to save. I got to update my layout. Now we got Coach Urban Meyer down there in the bottom corner. Now I made a video on this. He put it out the Triple Option podcast, and somebody said, "Oh, so now we got to be fans of Urban Meyer." Well, I never said that. They said now we respect what Urban Meyer said. Well, no, I never said that. I just wanted to play this clip and kind of have some talking points about it. Let's take a listen to what Urban Meyer said.
Coach, is there a dark horse out there that tickles you a little bit?
Yeah, Nico, the quarterback at Tennessee. I had them. I remember when I first started studying them last year, and I called Brady Quinn and Matt Leinart, and I said, what am I missing here? This guy looks like a bona fide. He looks like Aaron Rodgers. The ball comes out of his hand like a tennis ball, man.
Kent State.
Good point.
First of all, Mark Ingram can. I'll just keep. It's not Tuesday. We're not playing EA Sports College Football. I can't say that. Coach? What are your thoughts on that when he says Kent State? And I kind of went on a freaking tangent on this in my video.
Where did he go to school?
Alabama.
Okay, well then he can shut his stupid mouth because he doesn't really have an opinion. He took an L, so they lost.
What are your thoughts though?
Nico
on
beat him with dimes. So
want to talk about Kent State, and they want to talk about Chattanooga, and they want to talk about this, that, and the other when they're devaluing Nico in his 2024 season.
I mean, I agree with you. I don't care who you're playing. You got to look sharp. Now that goes for Arkansas too, right? That it's true for whoever you're playing. I want to see execution on a football field, and when it's not good enough, like Arkansas, I'm going to rate you what I feel like you played as. I felt like Nico played like a D to D minus player during the Arkansas game. I just did. So that's what I rated his performance. I agree with what Coach Meyer is saying. Listen, it's been well documented on this channel what I think about Nico. And yeah, I've got a personal affinity because there's a connection. He comes from a similar coaching tree that I'm involved with. So he's always going to be my dude no matter what. If he crashes and burns and falls out and doesn't do well, I'll always be proud of him. He's one of the guys, you know. He's from my areas. He's from a coach that I'm dear to and that I love. So I'm always going to be fond of that. But I said it before the season last year, Boogie, and I know you could pull it up if you wanted to. You can have all the talent and skill in the world, but at the end of the day, we are going to judge Nico based on his performances on the grass in the Southeastern Conference. Nothing more, nothing less. That is going to be how he is judged, period, in my point of view. So, yeah, you know, big wins against throwing the ball around, setting freshman records are great and all this. But, you know, Volunteer fans want to see their $8 million championship right off the bat. They don't want to wait for it. Is a coach that kind of goes against my natural being, right? Because I want to see a progression of development, and I realize that nothing really happens that way and that right now. And I know a lot of people are saying, man, Nico's got to get it done this year. You know, if he doesn't, you know, throw for 1 billion yards this year, then he's a bust. I don't even feel that way. Now, if I saw zero growth and a step back, I'd be hugely concerned. And yeah, I might be leaning towards bust at that point. But what if Nico throws for 300 more yards, 370 more yards than he did this year? What if he throws for only 400 more yards than he did this year? Well, guess what? If he throws for only 400 more yards, that's as many yards as Hendon threw for. It's not that huge of a jump, believe it or not, but he's got to make it at the same time, and they have to execute well. At the end of the day, and it's even goes further than that. It's about overall function of the offense and how it clicks in synergy together. But it's a deep conversation. But yeah, go ahead, X.
You guys know how much Carson Beck got paid, right? To transfer to Miami.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Who had a better quarterback rating? Carson Beck or Nico Iamaleava? Anybody know?
Nico.
End of discussion. Go ahead, X.
No, just to piggyback off what Coach was saying too about as far as like execution and stuff too, because yeah, we all know that Nico can throw for that many yards, man. We all know that. I mean, how much has he thrown during game 1, Chattanooga? I mean, you know, do you got to pull back up the records again, Bug? Exactly. So, but yeah, we just got to have the playmakers going into this season in order for him to achieve that goal. And yeah, we just got to just see just more development, man, because it just, I'm sorry, but just like last season, just seeing, you know, saying the wide receivers, man, I mean, just Nico, and yeah, I know everybody was saying like, oh, Nico's overthrowing and stuff. And yeah, he had a few, you know, overthrows and stuff like that. But what were we also seeing too? Like Squirrel White dropping passes.
This right here from Falming, 900 yards of dropped passes.
Yeah.
For Nico?
Yeah. Thank you.
I don't know if that's an accurate number, but it was a lot.
I don't know.
It was a lot.
But you know, I think Fowl sent it to me at one point, and I think when I did the math on it, if he had those catches, he would add something like 3 more yards than Hendon did his senior year. But I mean, I would challenge everyone in here, and this goes for me too, guys. It's nice to have our thoughts, and it's always fun to talk football and kick around. And Tony, I'm talking about your comment, but I'm not picking on you because I do the same. I do the same exact thing. And you're the man, Tony. I do love conversing with you, but I would challenge each of us in here, including myself, to not just say, you know, I think Nico ain't the guy, let's challenge each other and let's say, I believe he's not the guy because I saw this, because I saw that. And let's give exact reasons, because I think it helps debate. You know what I mean? I think it helps us push each other and really dig at, what we want to dig at as Tennessee fans, the true issues behind this team. So I want to challenge me, not only Tony, but me, X, Boogie, all of us to kind of let's dig deeper into it.
It's like wanting to fire the offensive coordinator because the offense isn't scoring a lot of points. Right. Why
exactly.
are they not scoring a lot of points? And it's why Josh Heupel, it was so maddening because he kept saying it takes 11 guys doing ordinary things at an elite level, because that's all it boils down to. And that's the thing. Like, you want reasons, you want to break it down. Go back to early in the year in that NC State game, and I'm going, Coach Jay, something has changed, because I get it. It's Chattanooga, but the precision, the accuracy. Like, it makes no sense for Nico to be missing the deep ball as much as he was missing the deep ball. When I saw him against Chattanooga throw, it's why Urban Meyer is saying what he's saying, because it was the ball location, the accuracy. He didn't miss anybody. And I'm going, Coach Jay, something has changed. He's getting beat up. He's getting hit. He's not getting protected. Is it a confidence thing? Something is off. Something has changed with Nico. And then I feel like he kind of started to bounce back. And then I feel like in that Alabama game, he started to turn a corner. And I think we saw a different quarterback. But again, going back to what Coach Jay said, like, when we talk about Nico, the expectations, the records that he broke as a redshirt freshman, let's get rid of On3. Let's get rid of 247 Sports. Let's get rid of Rivals and the rankings. You have no idea who Nico is. You just know he's a quarterback from California. You don't have the rankings. You don't know that he's the number one player in the country. You don't have me and Coach Jay yelling and screaming, talking about he's number one player and he's going to be great. He's going to be epic. You just know a redshirt freshman's out there. And that redshirt freshman comes in and breaks records, freshman records, scoring records, throwing records. And he goes and wins 10 games, and he makes it to the college football playoff. What are you thinking going into that next season? Are you going, man, can this quarterback, here's this word again, can he grow to his redshirt sophomore year? We're talking about a redshirt freshman, and we're freaking out because he's not breaking. Well, he is breaking records, and we're still freaking out.
And let me ask you another question too. Like, if next year, Nico threw for crap, I can't remember. I think it's like 2,600 yards, something like that this year, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Sounds about right, because I think Hendon was around 3,000, 3,100.
Yeah. But what if I told you Nico's sophomore year, he's going to throw for 1,300 yards? Would you ever want him to see the field again?
His redshirt sophomore year, he throws for 1,300 yards. You talking about Hendon Hooker? Is that what you're talking about?
I'm asking you if Nico.
I know where you're going. I know where you're
if
going.
Nico did that, would you ever want to see him again? Yeah, and Boogie knew where I was going.
I've already made the videos on it.
That's how many. Yeah, I know you have. Which I'm giving you a shout out here, Boogie. Right? I'm giving my man Boogie a shout out, because that's how many yards Hendon threw for. Football's weird, man. A lot of people. Gosh dang it, his name is escaping me right now. Someone help me. Cade Klubnik for Clemson.
Yeah.
He was dead and buried halfway through the season, and then figured it out. And now he's like in the top 4 of the Heisman list. And I don't know what he's going to do with this season. Shoot, he could fall out from what he's been doing and suck. I don't know. I don't know how he's going to develop, what steps he's going to take. Or he can live up to the 5-star potential he has. I guess my point is, I'm not ready to bury freshmen and sophomores, redshirt or not. I'm not ready to bury them, period. I want to see if they can cross over that threshold at some point. Now, I'm not saying there's not a point where you should bench them or treat them harshly or make them prove it, or all those things that come along with being starting quarterback. I'm just saying, people develop at different speeds and different levels. It's obvious the talent that is there for Nico. I think we can all agree on the talent base for him. As Wayne said, when is that light bulb truly going to come on where the game's really, really slow for him is what we're waiting to see. I want to hit this
comment. We're almost an hour into it, and we're not even. We're nowhere near where like this is. We got to do more live streams. Y'all got get me to do live streams. There's so much to talk about. Gabe No Bueno says, was Hendon paid $2 million his sophomore year? You got to remove money out of the equation. Guess what? That's what a 5-star quarterback, that's the number one player in the country, costs now. So you can't put an expectation that Nico's got to come in. What do you want him to do? Break freshman records? Oh, he did it. You want him to break throwing records? He did it. He did it, guys. Like you can't put an expectation on the kid because of the amount of money that he makes. That's the cost of doing business. That's just the reality that we're in right now. Tim Rice reminding you guys, smash the dang thumbs up. That's easy, man. Hit the thumbs up. Share this thing out. We got 170 people watching in the middle of freaking February. Share it out. Can we get over 200? Wait, 250. If we get to 250 people watching live, we'll give away a free shirt. How about that? Go ahead, Coach.
That's perfect. That's my point. Like X, whether Nico was good enough or not for $2 million last year, do you want to find out what happens when you pay $200,000 for a quarterback? Would you like to do that at Tennessee?
No.
If I gave X the power to be Tennessee's NIL collective, would you want to pay a quarterback $200,000?
No.
Go get me a Rick
hell
Claus.
no.
You
want the $2 million and you're going to put it on that horse and bet on a horse, right? Because like Boogie said, it's the price of doing business. Now, if you don't like that, fine. I respect the hell out of Tom, because Tom just sticks his flag in the ground and says, you know what? I don't believe paying college athletics is fine. I think it's stupid. I think it sucks. I think it's atrocious. I think it's the worst thing on earth. If you want to stick that flag in the ground, you know what? I don't know if I agree with you or not, but I respect the hell out of it. But I don't necessarily, not respect maybe is the wrong word. I don't like when it's like, oh, okay, well, like a quarterback costs $2 million, but if it just wasn't perfect everything, then they shouldn't be rich because it wasn't 100% the way I liked it. That's all.
Right. And then
go ahead, and then we're going to transition to.
I'm
not even started the Urban Meyer. I'm not even started the Urban Meyer.
Well, I mean, no. Real quick, I was just going to say is that, guys, I mean, look at Ohio State. I mean, I'm sorry, but like that's just a prime example of what NIL and what this business and what college football is going into. I mean, you look how much they spent, like I said, on Will Howard.
Agreed.
I mean, and for the rest of the roster, man. So I get it, guys. I mean, kind of Ohio State set the example this past season is that, look, if you want like an NFL kind of talent of a roster, you're going to have to spend the NIL money. You're going to have to go out there and get those top 5 dudes, man. And like Coach said, like you got to bet on a horse, man. Let them grow, let them develop, and see where it goes.
And the beautiful thing is we're betting on several horses because we got Jake, we got George, we got Faison. They're lining up to play quarterback at Tennessee. Let me catch up with you guys. Joey Carroll's been a member for 45 months. We appreciate you, brother. It's been a great time, Boogie and family. Yeah, it's good getting back on with the boys, talking some Tennessee football. Timothy McGee for 10. I think sometimes it's a scheme. Okay, Boogie, if your receivers are running into the DBs instead of Hail Mary passing cutoff routes at 5 to 15 yards, Timothy is still going to. Timothy drops another 5, says, so if he can get the ball off in 2 to 3 seconds like Manning could do and others. And he goes on and says, can that $200,000 quarterback read a defense and get the ball off quicker? I'm going to say no.
Not when they're to me though, like not at the freshman level. And the average comment, like, yeah, if you want to put him next to a senior or a junior, I would call the season average. But for a freshman, redshirt freshman or not, I don't think it was an average season for Nico. I really don't. I think it was above average. I think the numbers bear that out. And I got news for you. Go pull up every sophomore Tennessee Volunteer fan quarterback ever to play as a sophomore. I think you'll find his numbers are better than those too. So I would encourage you to kind of compare us to other people within his class. If you want to go sophomore, fine, go sophomore. I'll grant that. I think your first year of playing is what's needed for it to get under your skin. But listen, that doesn't mean Nico met my expectations last year. He didn't. I'll be frank with you. But that's just how high I thought of Nico and his talent coming out of high school and being around it. That he didn't meet those expectations. I'll buy that. I'll believe that. I'll be the first to raise my hand on that. But I just don't think for a redshirt freshman or a sophomore, his numbers were average in the toughest conference.
And then real quick, can I just throw in the fact that too he didn't really have much of a good O-line. It looked good on paper.
No, he didn't.
Or wide receivers.
Yeah. I mean, can we throw in those facts too? I mean, yeah, he had decent amount of wide receivers and not that very good of an O-line.
And okay, this is the last thing I'm saying. Then we're going to play the rest of this Urban Meyer clip. But Carson Beck, again, $5 million to go to Miami. but Nico had a higher QBR, and you're saying he's not worth $2 million? Interesting.
How much did Manning make this last year?
I have no idea.
It
Do you
was a
know, or are
bunch.
you asking?
So do you not give him his money because he didn't earn his check?
I mean, unless you want
You
to
answer
talk
for
about
me,
it.
chat. I don't know. You guys answer in the chat.
If
So
you don't-
because Manning didn't earn his check, because he didn't, one win against Shady Pines Convalescent Home isn't earning $1 million check. I mean, I'm that's just my thought on it, but maybe it's just me. I think there's a lot of freshmen. I guess is what I'm saying. Is there's a lot of freshmen who didn't play a lick, who cashed a real fat check.
Game No Bueno says, I didn't
And
say
hell yeah,
that.
you're fans.
I
You
didn't
get to
say that.
complain.
What? Yeah,
You definitely get
did
to complain,
say that.
fans. Complain.
You can complain all you want to a certain
Yeah,
extent.
hell yeah.
Yeah, hell
Sorry,
yeah.
heck
Like-
yeah, complain. I'm here for it, man.
Say whatever you want to say, but we're also going to debate how we feel.
Yeah,
Let's
that's all.
see. Dylan Elam, member for 31 months, 2022 has ruined the. But look, here's the thing, Game No Bueno. You brought up a great talking point that we just carried 15, 20 minutes of conversation, but I'm here for it. I'm here for the disagreement. Dylan Elam, been a member for 31 months, says 2022 has ruined the expectations. Hendon had Darnell Wright, Hyatt, and Tillman. Hyatt, we're going to get to growth. We're going that. Coach A, we're gonna put out a shirt that just says growth. That's what it's all about. That is the freaking theme. Josh Heupel needs to be like Lane Kiffin and Bush Jones and roll out a growth motto for 2025. Nico had Lance Hurd, a hurt squirrel, and Brew that is coming off a nasty leg break. Patience, he says. All right, let's go back. And let's hear the rest of this Urban Meyer comment, because all we heard is the word Nico, and we talked for 20 minutes.
I love it. I love it.
Hey, we here for it.
That's what I was missing. And he got really inconsistent, and that team around him got a little bit inconsistent. They still had a heck of a year. So if that kid grows as a quarterback, he could be I asked the question after watching, and I know he wasn't playing great teams, but just his physical ability, his side speeds, athleticism, and the ball comes out. I saw him as a high first-round draft pick. Now, it remains to be seen, but I'll pick Tennessee.
Yeah. I'm not very far off that.
Boogie, you're muted.
Boogie.
Oh my gosh, who am I, Coach Jay? He's picking Tennessee as a dark horse to win the national championship, but he's throwing that magic word around again. Growth. Like you hear what he said, right? Nico was a little inconsistent, but so was everybody around him. That's why it was so maddening for Josh Heupel. Like I don't think we even need to go down the road of, can Tennessee win a national championship? I think for sure, like Tennessee can win a national championship in 2025. You guys agree? Disagree?
I agree.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I that you need the growth though. That's just it, right? You get the same performance out of your own line, out of your wide receivers, and out of your quarterback. It's true for Nico too, right? That's going to happen. I'll tell you what else. You get the same performance out of Tim Banks in this defense on the road that you got last year. Same thing will happen too. They're not immune from it either.
And guess what? And then also the two wide receivers that I'm looking for, like you said, that word growth. Well, guess what? Mr. Mike Matthews that came back.
Yeah,
he's one of them. And then the other player that I'm really anxious to see, which I'm pretty sure everybody is too, is Mr. Boo Carter.
X is burying the lead. Don't let him bury the lead. We're going to get there. We're going to get to growth, and we're going to get to spring camp and who we're looking to grow. I want to kind of pump the brakes. I want to pump the brakes a little bit and get a little bit of a reality check, because I know everybody's so down in the dumps. Ohio State, we suck. We're awful. I can't talk football because we suck so bad. Going 10-2 and making the playoffs sucks. We're awful. We're doing things we haven't done since Philip Fulmer, but we suck. So I want to kind of let's pump the brakes and let's get a bird's eye view of where this program's at right now. David Hall for 2 says, just listening. Missed you guys. We missed you, brother. Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate that from you. J. Pat, been a member for 4 months, says year 2 in the system is key. FUGA and GBFO. I don't know what that F means in GBFO, but we appreciate your support. Chase Tidwell's been a member for 29 months. Says, been a while, but go Vols. Why don't you guys come hang out with me on Sunday nights when I play video games and I yell and I cuss and I scream and I throw things and I cry? Like, it would be great if you guys would come hang out with us on Sunday nights. Tim Rice, been a member for 23 months. Appreciate you, Tim. I appreciate all the memberships. Let's see. Let's do a little plugs and chill. Smash the thumbs up, share out the link. I said if we got to 250, I would give away a free shirt. We're at 150 right now. It's gonna take some work. It's gonna take some work. All these guys showing that they've been members for 23, 48, 72 months. You can hit the join button below the video, right over here in the corner. It's $1. You got an extra dollar in your pocket. Now I think they're doing away with income taxes, is what I hear. We're all gonna be filthy rich. You can throw me that dollar. I would appreciate it. Hit that join button. Custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, access to fan call-ins, a power tee beside your name, but you are supporting for the fans, by the fans. We need your support. You can also support by going and picking up a shirt. Clearly, I need to edit this one and change it to You're Muted Boogie. But you can let Coach Shay know that he's muted. We got these brand new I say brand new, they're like 4 months old now. State Pride 2.0 logo shirts. You can pick whatever type of shirt you want, color you want. It's all there. You guys asked for hoodies, camo hoodies. We got camo hoodies. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. There's also a link in the description below. I should probably remove this one, huh? I should probably maybe slash out the S, just Boogie and the coach. Just slash out the S. Anyway, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. We appreciate any and all support. Yeah. The links are in the description as well. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. We don't get to do this without you guys. All right, I want to go somewhere else. I want to talk about, again, a bird's eye view, where we're at, where this program is at. Everybody thinks the sky is falling. So I want to go take a look. Well, let's do this. Let's do it this way first. Oh, my gosh, that is awful. That's the worst view we could possibly have. Let's share this on Twitter. JD Piquel, my one, he used to be my friend. Now it's like that thirsty ex-girlfriend that's like DMing him. I'm like, hey, JD, can you come say hi? Hey, JD, how you doing? He just ghosts me. He just doesn't read them anymore. Just completely ignores me. I know JD's busy. Shout out JD. He says, college football team set up for the most success for the next 3 years. What do you guys want? You guys want just one good run, or do you want a sustained program that wins year in and year out? I don't know, like winning 11 games in 22, 9 games in 23, 10 games in 24. That sounds way more fun than Butch Jones fighting for bowl games, Derek Dooley fighting for bowl games, Jeremy Pruitt fighting for bowl games, right? Like, am I right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
All right. College football team set up for the most success for the next 3 years. JD's got Tennessee mentioned in here. Let's go take a listen. We're going to take a listen. And I got a lot of pauses, and we're going to talk a lot about it. But let's fire it up here.
Number 9, I got Tennessee. I trust Josh Heupel, man. And you look at what Tennessee is under him. One, they've won a lot. Okay,
let's just start right there. Let's start right there, X. When's the last time Tennessee won a lot? Book, and that's not even a lot. That's like 2 years.
No. Yeah, 2 years. Yeah, like I said, we haven't even won a lot. Nope.
You got to go back to Phil Fulmer since they've won a lot. So when Josh Heupel was hired, and you're going, all right, who is this guy? I got to Google him, got to figure him out. Like for you, you're younger than me and Coach Jay. Like, how do you feel about where this program is at right now? And I get it. You can be mad. You can be pissed about the Ohio State game. But as a program, the last 3 years have been pretty damn fun.
Yeah, listen, look, I'm sure as hell happy about it. Like, for real, man, because like you said, you know, you and Coach, you guys are a little older than me. So, and again, man, and I know I've said it many times on the show, like, you guys seen the glory years of Tennessee. You know, my age group, my age group of watching Tennessee football, we haven't been able to see that, man. You know, it's like what I was saying earlier. I mean, I know you guys troll me about Butch Jones and all that and stuff, but we thought he was the one. You know, I mean, yeah, he got us some impressive wins and some bowl games and here, But now that Josh Heupel has came in, and in year one, like, you have to give him a pass because of, from Pruitt with the whole investigation and everything going on, so you got to give him a pass. Hey, seven wins, hey, that's okay for your first year. It's pretty impressive. Then your second year, and then I'm sorry, like the 22 year, like, I'm sorry, that one was very, very, even to this day, man, very special to me, man. To go out and win 11 games. I mean, and like I said, I know you, Dauber, Coach. I mean, you guys already seen that and expected that from Tennessee football. But for me as a fan, in my generation, like, we're just like, hey, we ain't never seen something like that before. Yeah. Like, never.
I think, I truly think, maybe other than JP. JP's never going to be happy. But I think for us, the ones that are older, we know what that felt like, right? We know what that felt like to consistently win, expect to win 10 games. And so, like, when Josh Heupel gets us back to winning 11, 9, 10 games, we're like, let's freaking go. Like, this guy is getting us back in the right direction. And then when other people are like, nope, screw this guy, he didn't win the Natty, I'm like, no, like, do you understand how we used to be the most arrogant, we still are the most arrogant, cocky fan base ever. But it's like in the 90s, we knew if you're lining up against Vanderbilt, if you're lining up against South Carolina, you're lining up against Kentucky, you're going to win that game. Like even Alabama back in those days under Phil Fulmer, you knew you're going to win those games. That went away. We've been lost in the woods for 20 years. And now we got a guy that's bringing us out of the woods. And I take it freaking personal when somebody comes in and says, well, this guy sucks. We didn't win a Natty. We're not Ohio State. Screw you. Like, we are back. We are so back. Now, we got to take the next step, Coach. We got to take the next step.
Yeah, you got to consistency. I do agree with a lot of people out there that consistency is really important. So, 10-win season in 22. What were we in 23? 9-4, 9-3, 9-4. What last year 10-3. So string together 10-win seasons and then break through, right? That needs to be the mantra, because you're not going to go out there and win it every year, right? I think it's going to be really hard, at least in its current structure, to see kind of like what Bama did, where you kind of have a 10-year reign like that. Doesn't mean you won't be a good program, but winning that many over that length of time, I think is going to be difficult. I think you need to stay competitive. I think you need to the goal should always be 10 wins a season and try to get hot at the right time of year and put it all together at the end of the year, right? So as long as we're, putting together 10-win seasons, Coach Jay is going to be a happy man, because I think that's where you need to get to, And so, like, if next year we go 10-2 again, but we make it around further, and then the year after that, maybe Nico stays another year, we go 11-1, make the championship. Maybe doesn't get there, but maybe we put it together in recruiting. Maybe one of these other quarterbacks kind of puts it together, catches the right wide receivers, right recruiting class, and then puts it all together and wins it. Or maybe Nico does it in that final year. I don't know, but I do know this. You've got to play elite. And by playing elite, I don't mean just you win every game all the time. I mean winning 10 games every single season like clockwork. You got to put winning season after winning season after winning season until you catch a good draw, get hot at the right time, and win it all.
That I said that exact thing in a video about Ohio State, right? Like, Ohio State is winning consistently. There's sustainability there. It's year in and year out. Like that, like they're wanting to fire Ryan Day, and he's won 11 games 3 years in a row, and then he goes and gets that national championship because, like Coach Jay said, they got hot at the right time. And then Coach Jay's reading right out of my notes. I said, this is directly from my notes leading into this clip, and then I forgot to say it. Maybe Nico's not the guy to win an SEC championship or a national championship. But when you stack quarterbacks and you got Nico and you got Jake and you got George and then you got Faison, and let me tell you something, I think Faison Brand, I think this class of 26, boys, if we don't get it done, I think this class of 26 may be the ones that reap the rewards from Nico committing to Tennessee paying that $8 million that people want to complain about and making it cool to come back to Tennessee and getting recruiting rolling and the blue chip ratio climbing every single year. Maybe Faison Brandon's class is the one. I think this class of 26 could be the best class that Josh Heupel has recruited since being in Knoxville. But spoiler alert, we're going to talk about it here from JD in just a second. The blue chip ratio has been going up year in and year out. Let's roll this clip.
2 double-digit win seasons over the course of the last 3 years. That's first off. Second off, he just had his best recruiting class of his entire time in Knoxville. So you're watching the trend; it just kind of keeps going up and to the right.
You're watching the trend of recruiting keep going up and to the right. Let's go back to 2021. Class of 2021, 23rd in the country. That don't cut it. 31% blue chip ratio. That don't cut it. And that's the thing. People want to complain. People want to gripe. 2022. 15th in the country recruiting class, 43% blue chip ratio. That's a big jump, 31% to 43%. 23, 46%, 24, 57%. This last class, the class of 25, 62%. The trend is going up. Meanwhile, while that growth is taking place on the high school recruiting ranks, we're still going and utilizing the portal and adding the right pieces to still continue to win 11 games, 9 games, 10 games. Josh Heupel is trending in the right freaking direction. If we would just be patient and let him continue to cook and continue to do what he does, we are moving in the right direction. Like JD said, we're doing this, boys. We're going up, and I think the class of 26 can be pretty solid. X, I know you don't follow recruiting a lot, but we're trending in the right direction.
Yes, sir. And I said, I'll add on to that too, because I know there was some comments over here talking about, well, stop paying, 3-star players and stuff. Well, guess what? When we was with, Pruitt and Butch, I mean, now Butch, okay, I'll give it to him. He was recruiting talent. He just didn't know how to coach it. But guess what? I mean, like what you said, Boog, with this recruiting class coming in and we're trending up, and me as a fan, like I said, I'd never seen us collect this many 4 or 5 stars, and especially like at the quarterback position, like ever. I mean, it's like what I talk about, with me and my other friends. I was like, guys, like, don't be wrong, I love Hendo Cinco, love him to death, but Nico has been the best quarterback we've had since Josh Dobbs and Hendon. Like both of those quarterbacks combined, like Nico is it. And then, like you said, really anxious to see what Faison Brand is going to do, because I feel like that class of 26 is going to be really, really special too. I just have a feeling. And then we'll see if what Jake can do. We'll see what George can do. But yeah, man, I'm getting really, really excited to know that we're starting to have a lot of 4 or 5 stars interest in us, because think about it, guys. The past 5-10 years ago, man, like we just wasn't pulling in recruits, man. Like, I mean, we was slowly, but we just wasn't trending in the right time. But now that time's changing.
Let me play this next part of the clip and let Coach Jay kind of chime in on this. Let's play the next part.
Not a bad vibe. They're always going to, I believe, as long as Josh Heupel's the head coach, be able to recruit a quarterback. George McIntyre, this most recent class, Jake Merklinger in the class before, Nico Iamaleava. Like, you see where I'm going with this. They have one of the most difficult positions to account for. You feel pretty good about Josh Heupel going and adding a player at that position. Now,
what's more important, Coach? I'm putting the old defensive coach on blast. What's more important, defense or quarterback? What's the most important piece to the puzzle to win a national to build a national championship program in 2025? I know I set you up for failure because I know defense wins championships. Blah blah blah. It's a quarterback-driven game right now. That's why quarterbacks are getting $5 million, $8 million, $7 million, $6 million. Yeah. It's a quarterback game. Like, just
it's why Mahomes beat the crap out of the Eagles.
That's what I was getting ready to say, Coach. I was like, Coach, I was like, do we want
better best quarterback always wins, right?
Whoa. Okay. Why did the Eagles win? I'll play the rest of the clip.
The evolution of Tennessee that we're starting to see is the way they are adapting in the trenches. We've said this many times, but if you're new, welcome. We'll say it again. Tennessee used to have to scheme around the trenches. We don't have the big boys up front. Therefore, we have to beat you with scheme and beat you with guys on the outside and matchups and quarterback play, all that. That's great. It's well and good. It's a nice short-term play. Josh Heupel understood for us the next phase is getting those big boys. Y'all, they got them. Of their most recent recruiting class, their top 2 prospects were on the offensive and defensive line.
So there you go. You won the argument, but I bailed myself out.
I just like, so, and something, I know you were talking about the 22 season the other day, and man, I did that thing where you get on Twitter and you start typing and you're about to press send and then you go.
One of these days I'm going to make a video. One of these days I'm going to make a video with my drafts. They're all in my drafts, the ones that I almost send and then back out.
Probably shouldn't do that because everyone will realize that sometimes Coach Jay could be a negative, even though he's not all sunshine pumper. But look, the 22 win was, I think, everything. Yeah, it was great, right? It was awesome. Everyone loved it. It was like the weight of the world off your shoulders. Like, I was like squirming on the ground like a worm. I was in so much agony at the end of that game. But because I was pissed, and part of me, I'll tell you what I was about to delete in the text. I was about to delete that Tennessee got lucky in that game. They shouldn't have won that game. They were gifted crap. Alabama made poor decisions. Our defense sucked in that game. They sucked hard. They tried their best to give away that game. If you ask Coach Jay which game Tennessee played better in, the 2024 Alabama game or the 22 Alabama game, maybe it's because I'm a defensive coach. Probably is. Okay, I'll correct that. I know it is. Give me the 24 performance every single time. I cannot stand giving away 50 points, and just because coaches make stupid decisions about running stupid plays and don't put the game away so you get a chance to get the ball back when you've gifted Alabama the game and they gifted it back to you. Give me the 24 performance. Maybe it's just me, but give me the 24 performance over the 22 performance. But once again, I'm a defensive coach.
And I was
The only reason it was better is because of the weight off the shoulders.
All right, and I was getting ready to say, Coach.
Yeah.
I mean, well, think about it, man. Look, that 22 game, man. Look, you gotta think Bryce was on that team, and listen, look, he's one heck of a quarterback, man. You know.
Yes.
And
Hell yeah.
and looking at last season's game, I mean, Jalen Miro's good too. I mean, I'm not gonna shame him or whatever, but I
Sure.
mean, Alabama.
He's not Bryce. I get it.
Yeah. Alabama last season that team last season just didn't look like the 22 team. It just did not. I mean, the 22 team, they had their struggles as well, but this past season of Alabama, you knew right away. I was like, no, this is not the same team.
Since you guys have been talking and gave me time to put my thoughts together, I can go ahead and shut down Coach Jay and win the argument when it comes to defense versus a quarterback. There's 11 guys on defense. There's one quarterback. If you have a quarterback that is a game changer, that's going to win you some ball games. Give me one player on defense that can win you ball games. There's not one guy on defense. You're talking about an entire defense that wins championships, but the most important guy on the team's quarterback. I'm sorry, I'm going to die on this hill. It's a quarterback-driven game. Yes, we need an elite defense.
Wait, rewind the sentence, though. Like, if you have a game-changing quarterback, they can beat an elite defense. Is that the statement?
No. I'm saying we're talking about one guy. We're talking about one guy. You take,
so if you have like a Hendon Hooker, he could totally trump a 2022 Georgia defense. I agree.
Well, I don't even know if he could trump a 22 Georgia defense. I'm just saying you give me one guy on defense that can shut down a dominant offense. That doesn't exist. Doesn't exist.
Well, I mean,
Reggie
White. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't think Reggie White can win a game on his own.
No,
maybe,
but I don't think a quarterback can either, to be honest.
I mean, we seen Patty Mahomes screaming for his life.
What's the most important
You take
position?
an offensive line away from any quarterback.
I
mean, we see it all the time. Look at Mahomes in that game. I mean, I know we just talked about it, but he was under duress, man. You put any quarterback under severe duress like that, it's problematic, especially if that duress is coming. And I'm not trying to pick on our offensive line again, because I think we've done it a lot. But part of the problem with the duress that Nico was under, it was not so much that they were bringing pressure, is that they were bringing pressure with the bare minimum of rushers, like Philly was. When we had pressure on Nico, a lot of instances, specifically the Ohio State game, they were dropping everybody. The Oklahoma game, they were dropping almost everybody and getting to us. That's problematic. If as a defensive coordinator, if I can put everyone but 3 to 4 dudes in coverage and I'm getting blitz pressure, I don't think there's any quarterback ever that can beat that. I'll die on that hill.
Blitz once the entire night? Are you kidding me? But that's 4 dudes. Quarterback's one guy. That's why I'm just saying quarterback's the priority. I think Josh Heupel going and landing elite quarterback after elite quarterback, and do they pan out? Do they not? Doesn't matter, because that is a blessing for us. It doesn't matter if it's Nico, if it's Jake, if it's George, if it's Faison. It doesn't matter, because we got a lot of elite quarterbacks that are rolling through this program right now. Let me catch up with you guys real quick. Todd Landers for 5 says, late fee, how y'all doing, Vol fam? Doing great, Todd. It's good to see you in the chat. Chandler Matthews for 10. Does anybody remember Tyler Bray's step from year 1 to year 2? Similar body structure and arm talent. I expect the same with Nico, and these young stars at wideout are going to show out. GBO.
Yes, and not to play bad guy again, but I guess I also remember a lot of sophomore slumps, because they are things. I remember Eric Ainge's sophomore slump, Brent Schaefer. I remember sophomore slumps too.
Brent Schaefer fell
And
off the earth after his freshman
yeah,
year.
yeah. And I'm not saying,
Yeah.
hey, look, Chandler, and I'm with you. I think Nico can take a huge step like Tyler did. I'm just saying there are two realities here, and I'm going to keep going back to this. It's going to be about development this year, right? It's going to be about growth. Like Boogie said, we're going to put it on a dang T-shirt. If this team has huge they will take a huge step. If they have no growth, they won't. They will fight in a knife fight to stay in their current position if that is the case.
Timothy McGee for 5. Question: if the quarterbacks that came in this early, if he is better than Nico in every phase, do you think Heupel will start him? Are you talking about Jake or George? I can't answer this question because I agree. I see where Timothy's coming from. If Jake's better, if George is better, do you start him, or is there pressure from the people that raised the $8 million to go get Nico? That's my guy. That's the guy I paid for. You're going to play him. We can't answer that question. I see where you're coming from, Timothy. I think ultimately Josh Heupel gets paid $10 million a year to win football games. And if you're not doing things to win football games, then you're going to be bounced and the next coach is going to come in. That's why he gets paid $10 million is to make those decisions. Tom's in the house as my people. I think Nico is the guy. Need elite offensive line play, and Nico will be him. He was a first-year starter with a bad O-line this year. We have the personnel. Charles for 10 says, I'm still concerned about Lance Hurd. I don't know if he was hurt, incapacitated to some degree last year, or he just doesn't have the heart and or work ethic to exert the effort needed. That's why he is, for me, huge. It's like I said earlier in the show, this is Lance Hurd's last year at Tennessee. Either he's it and he goes to the NFL, he's going to get a huge NIL deal that Tennessee won't pay because hopefully Bennett Warren, David Sanders play out, or he is not it and he transfers out and his career is over. But that kind of leads me into the next talking point. We're going to wrap the show up with this one. We got to talk about it. What is it? I don't know. We'll get into it in just a second. What I want to talk about now is growth, though, and we'll be short with this. We're already an hour and 21 minutes in. Great show tonight, man. I've had fun talking Tennessee football. It's been fun. Spring camp, Coach Jay's theme, growth. A lot of people think this team is going to take a step back next year. 8-4. We're 7-5. I've heard 4-8. Are you an idiot? 4-8? You kidding me? To me, you got to replace DeSamp. You got to replace James Pierce, but I think you're returning a ton of talent. Yeah, you got some question marks. Again, Coach Jay talked about growth. X, give me one player on this football team that you want to see growth from in spring camp that would make an impact in 2025.
Well, that's going to be easy. I said it earlier, Boo Carter, man, because listen, like there's a reason why that we reached out to him along with Mike Matthews, but we reached out to Boo to say, hey, I understand that you want to flip from defense to offense because he wants the ball more. He wants to show off his talent and his skill set. And we all seen that talent and skill set during special teams, during defense. So it's like, okay, you can flip to offense. Now we're going to see what you're really made of. So definitely Boo, man. And I'll say this, man, from what I've seen from Boo last season, yeah, man, I think this kid's got it, man. Like as long as, like I said, if he stays healthy and he gets a lot of reps in, and like I said, and he can read the offensive book and everything, man, he's going to be very special. So definitely Boo Carter, man, is definitely the one player that I want to see for growth during spring and fall camp leading into the next season.
All right, Coach. Who's
Man, I only get one.
No. We're going.
I got a whole page here.
No, we're going round table. We're going one at a time.
Okay.
Round table. It's like a draft.
All right. Oh, okay. I mean, if we're going draft, just top of the end, who do I want to see growth? Yeah, it's got to be Satterwhite, I would say, for my first pick. Is William Satterwhite. You
got to expand. Oh my God, you sound like Dauber.
I mean, I think it's obvious. I think it's obvious, right? You've got a gaping hole left behind, where Mays left, and you also have, when you start looking along this line, you're right. You got some transfers. You have a 5-star possible true freshman, but Satterwhite's kind of the guaranteed starter that we haven't seen, and that's the young buck on the offense line. And center, as we all know from the Milton years, and every year really, center is a hugely important position. in
Yes.
Josh Heupel's offense. It's the rhythm, it's the gas pedal in his offensive system. So if that center position isn't operating at a high level, this offense will not move and act the way it should act. And I got to tell you, I went back and watched a lot of Satterwhite in this offseason, the short amount of snaps he got, as well as the spring game. I liked what I saw. I thought it was an awesome base. I think we have a lot to be excited about, but he does have a lot of room to grow. And if we get that growth, it will be a nice anchor to this offensive line.
Tyler Maxwell for 2 says, still excited for 25. Saturdays mean more GBO. We appreciate you, Tyler. Thank you for the super chat. Guys, continue to throw it in the comment section, in the live chat. Who do you want to see grow in this spring camp? I'm going, man, this is very telling that X is talking about Boo Carter, how he transitions to offense. Coach Jay's talking about the first center not named Cooper Mays for Josh Heupel as your starter. I'm going Lance Hurd because the comment that came in earlier, I think Lance Hurd is critical to this football team in 2025. I think protecting Nico. I think if the offensive line can protect Nico, I think going back to Urban Meyer's comments, if the guys around Nico can be more consistent, he's going to be more consistent. He's going to be more dynamic. If he has that confidence, if he has that trust, we're going to see what Nico is all about. But I think, Lance Hurd came in banged up. He came in out of shape. And I feel like a lot of people are going to disagree when I say this. Lance Hurd got better as the year went on. Was he perfect? No. But you got to also remember he's a sophomore too. So can he make that jump going into his junior year? Lance Hurd's it for me. I think if you got that lockdown left tackle, if Lance Hurd is that true 5-star and can protect Nico, I think this offense is going to be even better. X, you're up next. We'll do a couple of rounds here. Who else do you want to see grow?
Let's see. I said his name too, but I guess Mike Matthews, man. And I really, to be honest, like he's the one
passing offense. Imagine that, boys. Passing offense is what we're all talking about here.
Yeah, well, like I said, because again, like going even to last season, everybody was like, "Where's Mike Matthews? Where's Mike Matthews?" You know what I'm saying? Like we need to get this kid more touches, which I really truly believe that is true. Like, yeah, like hopefully that during spring and fall camp, he'll get the touches that he deserves. And then, yeah, man, just let the kid ball out next season. Because like I said, he made a few touchdowns, last season. And from what I saw too, he made some pretty impressive catches too. So yeah, I'm really, really excited for Mike Matthews, man. I think we're finally gonna see what Mike Matthews is really gonna be capable of.
All right. I'm going to kind of pick a little bit of a wild card for my guy and try to be Scottie Pippen here to Xavier's Michael Jordan, if you will.
Oh, you just called it XMJ?
Yeah, it's called XMJ with his Boo Carter pick. I'm going to take Jordan.
Who's better, MJ or LeBron?
I think they both are great.
Who's better? I said.
Who's better? LeBron.
Yeah. Who's better, Tupac or Eminem?
Depends on what we're talking about, because rap goes into depth with that one. We talking about rhyme schemes, double entendres, triple entendres, metaphors.
I'm talking about the best rapper, and he's trying to get out of this argument. Go ahead, Coach Jay. Go ahead.
Look, when it goes to music, go ahead, Coach.
I'm going to pick a guy that I thought was going to be a star player for us last year. More than just that, the actual star position, not only a star player, Jordan Thomas. I think Jordan Thomas is going to be pivotal to the Tennessee Volunteer defense because not only is a stud, not only is the kind of guy that can get 7 tackles for a loss and sacks, and he's good in coverage, good against the run, get pressure, as I mentioned, against the quarterback. He's going to allow Boo to play different positions, whether it be on the offensive side of the ball or on the defensive side of the ball alongside Jordan Thomas. So I'm going to take Jordan Thomas because of how well he will aid Tennessee in using Boo Carter in not only creative defensive ways, but creative offensive ways as well.
I'm going to take a Thomas too, and I'm going to take Jacoby Thomas.
Ooh,
because I think we are about to upgrade the safety position And that's going to piss everybody off. All the Will Brooks fans got their 35 jerseys on, saying, here goes Boogie again, hating on Will Brooks. I think we're about to get more athletic at the safety position. And I think Jacoby Thomas having a full year in the system, he got a little bit of playing time. He got that dog in him. I loved his interview with AP when he's like, I really don't even know what's going on when I'm on the field. I'm just in the moment, and I'm freaking going nuts. I love his attitude. He's got some dog. He's athletic. That's what I like. I think he has an opportunity to upgrade that safety position for us this year. And I think that's going to be a theme for a defense that I'm calling elite. You can disagree. You can argue. You can be a nut job and say, well, we didn't play anybody. That's a weird thing to say when you play in the SEC at the end of the year to try to claim that we didn't play anybody. I think our defense was elite. It was top 10, and I think we have an opportunity to be better in 2025. Let's go one more round. X, give me one more player that you want to see grow.
All right, another player that I will see grow is definitely Ethan Davis.
Ooh,
Yeah, about to
good
say
one.
because listen, for what we saw a glimpse of him last season was very, very promising, man. And hopefully that he'll get more involved with this offense, because it's like what we always talked about on the show, right? Like, we just never could understood. Well, and probably because we didn't really have the talent back then either. But Tennessee has just never really utilized the tight end position. But when you got an elite tight end like Ethan Davis, man, along, like saying, with this Josh Heupel scheme, I mean, like I said, there's a few games that we saw where Ethan Davis really, really shined. So I definitely want to see more growth from him. Hopefully that we'll utilize him in this offense. And yeah, that's going to be my last pick.
Whew. Man,
I
you
got
made
like
it
8.
tough.
I got
Three,
like
I
8 that
know,
wanted
dude.
to
I literally got like a page of players on both sides of the ball that I expect a lot of growth from. But if you're, I'm
Let me
going to
hit
go
this real
David.
quick
Go ahead.
What you think? Dylan says for 5. Appreciate the super chat. Pretty sure AP said Jordan Thomas isn't even close to being healthy. I don't know if it's
If that's
healthy.
true, then that
I don't know if
sucks.
it's healthy or if he is mentally ready.
I
I can't
assumed that he
remember
was healthy, so
I can't remember what AP said. There was something said about Jordan Thomas that
okay.
kind of soured a lot of people on him.
I'll
Go
take
ahead,
Aaron
Coach.
Carter then instead of Jordan Thomas. Now moving on. I'll take.
How about
I'll
Edward
take the,
Spillman? Go ahead.
Yeah, either they're interchangeable to me. Like they're both going to be on that same path. And like I said, just you go up and down this roster. I'll get off topic just for a second. You go up down this roster. I mean, I think I have pretty much every player at every position, and the same thing is true for everybody. That you could apply that word of growth. I challenge each of you to go through our 560 and tell me growth isn't like the buzzword for this whole class. But I'm going to take David Hobbs. We got a little skinnier on the interior. We're still really strong on the edges. And, you could go with a Jordan Ross or a Tyree West or a Herring or even like an Okoye who's got all kinds of skills and talent and immeasurables. But Hobbs can be really stout against the run, but he's also really, really fast. And I think Moy is pretty much already there beside him. But if you watched Moy and Hobbs, they were on the field together a lot last year. When Hobbs was clicking, they were elite together. I think Hobbs, as fast as he is on the interior, can really, really cause a lot of problems on passing downs when they're in those cheetah packages. So give me David Hobbs for taking a step for this Tennessee defense.
You know what's beautiful about the defensive line? Because a lot of people are like, oh, we're losing so much. It's like, you look at the 2 deep, Don Bailey, redshirt senior, Jackson Moy, senior, Bryson Easton, redshirt senior, Josephs, senior, Tyree West, senior, David Hobbs is a junior, Caleb Herring, junior. But guess what? It keeps going deeper, right? Jordan Ross is a sophomore. Like, that defensive line is so deep. And, like, it's so cliche. When we get on here and we talk recruiting, we say stack recruiting classes, blah, blah, blah. Coach G has done that. And if you do that at linebacker and at wide receiver and at running back and at offensive line, that's when we can start catching Ohio State. And like Coach Jay said, you catch lightning in a bottle and you are in the right place at the right time and you go out and you win ball games. You can do that when you stack recruiting classes on top of each other. Man, oh man, last one. I got the last pick. We've talked some good ones. We've talked some good ones. I can cheat. This is my show.
Sure,
I can
cheat.
Sure, go ahead.
2-for-1. Andres Carrick, waiver got denied. We talked about that a little bit earlier. He is appealing the appeal, but it sounds like Andres Carrick is not going to be a part of this football team. So I'm going to double down. Sam Pendleton transfers in from Notre Dame. Wendell Boyd Jr. transfers in from Arizona. We got 2 guys in the portal. Both play the guard position. Both have very high grades in pass protection. We're talking about how if you protect Nico, this offense is going to be even better. I think those 2 guys, if they can grasp this offense and they can click and they can fit in, and then you look at this offensive line for 2025, left to right, if you got Lance Hurd and you've got Pendleton and you've got Wendell Moore Jr. and then Coach Shay's already mentioned William Satterwhite, who locks down that right tackle position? Is it Bennett Warren? Is it David Sanders? Like I think, man, wide receiver is important. Passing offense, that's been the theme for this growth, right? And none of us said Nico. I think that's the easy one. We need Nico to grow between 24 and 25.
Yeah, I didn't take him for that reason.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about it.
Nico's always obvious because it's a quarterback, right?
Right.
So
yeah.
But the passing offense is what needs to grow. And we've rattled them off. Mike Matthews, Boo Carter. Guess what? Braylon Staley's lumped in there too. Chris Brazel's lumped in there too. This passing offense clicks in 2025. I think we're going to have success running the football. Somebody said we don't have a running back. I would disagree with that. I think Peyton Lewis is going to be RB1 in week 1. You heard it here first. I said it weeks ago. I think somebody on VolQuest said it this week, and I was like, man, I've been saying that for a couple of months now. Peyton Lewis is going to be a dude in this offense. Deshaun Bishop has shown he can flourish in this offense. We did the film breakdown on Star Thomas from Duke. That's his name, right? Star Thomas.
Yep. I like him.
You can go watch that film breakdown from Coach Jay. He's high on Star Thomas, 3-headed monster. We take a step in the passing game. Got a lot of guys coming back on defense. I think we got the future's bright at Tennessee. We're going to wrap this stream up. We appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't done it yet, smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. Think about joining the channel for $1 a month. We would appreciate your support. Go check out the Talkin VAWLS merchandise, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. I'll be live on Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, playing EA Sports College Football, talking all things Tennessee football. We get into some shenanigans. Guess what? Recruiting's about to pick back up. We've been in a dead period. When it picks back up, me and Coach Jay going to dive right back into it. We'll do some live streams for that. We got a watch party next week. What do y'all want to do, baseball or basketball? Y'all let me know in the comment section, the chat. We'll make a decision for next week doing a watch party. But then again, business is going to pick up. We'll start doing some recruiting live streams and do some more of this, man. We're right around the corner from spring camp. Once spring camp hits, I want to stream at least once per week, maybe every Wednesday at 7. We kind of talk about spring camp, what's going on. That'll be a good time. Then we're going to hang out in the G10 parking garage for the orange and white game. But that is going to do it. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. For Coach Jay, for the X Factor, my name is Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.
That we call